What I wanted to do is kind of give an overview of kind of the things, our current hydrology, just a little bit more information, but a number of the key things that the various state agencies are doing to address some of the impacts and mitigate some of the effects of this long-term drought. First of all, I wanted to start off as Mark Director Garaducci indicated that much of California is not just an extreme drought, but an exceptional drought. There's a number of actions that the Real-Time Water Operations team has brought before the State Water Resources Control Board, primarily temporary urgency change proposals or petitions. And what those allow us to do is kind of adjust some of the water right conditions, especially for the projects, to allow us to better manage the limited resources that we have, such as moving compliance points up in the Delta, changing Delta outflow requirements to the extent that we can increase the export of water south of Delta, or in some cases time the release of reservoirs to make sure that we're considering environmental impacts. We've seen a couple water transfers this year and reservoir operations when we said we know we need to move water, but if we delay the movement of water, that may also provide a beneficial impact to sensitive species like spawning salmon or salmon migration. One of the things that we've done, and as of April 27th, the State Water Board agreed to the consolidated use permit. So as we kind of do this every year, and that allows both the state and the federal water projects to use the common place, and that allows some flexibility with regard to water exchanges and water transfers. And again, that's been a successful approach at dealing with the limited resources to get and trade and exchange water into places that desperately need it. With regard to the surface water curtailments, so for those in the San Joaquin, those curtailment notices went out. As I understand it, 68,000 notices went out. Some, as it heads up, some were actually the curtailment of those diversions. Those are post-14 water rights. We do anticipate the Sacramento, if it hasn't happened already, will happen this week. We'll curtail Sacramento and then, of course, the Delta as well. There is a discussion because of the limited water supply in our reservoirs that the curtailments might go down to pre-14 and potentially in some areas riparian habitat or riparian water type. So that's never been done in history, but that also I think describes kind of our dire hydrologic setting. One of the challenges that we've seen to date as we've moved into our fourth year of drought is kind of unprecedented groundwater withdrawal, which drops the groundwater elevations. In the past, you know, we were worried about 10 feet, 20 feet, but we've seen withdrawals over 100 to 110 feet now. In some areas, what that's done is dewatered some of our shallow wells. East Porterville is an example of that. That's why Cal OES and the local agencies are working hard to meet those health and safety needs, and that we'll be working with those agencies to bring on an emergency water supply well until those groundwater elevations come up. A lot of what we've done is focused on, to the extent possible, consolidation of individual wells into small systems or small systems into bigger systems. And what that helps us with is, first of all, we get out of everyone using wells to chase down to deeper water, but it helps us with drought resiliency. That's that drought preparedness that Mark talked about. So the emergency measures that we're looking at doing now and the administration putting money into, hopefully, every step along the way will help us become more drought resilient and make more water reliability, especially for those individuals that are on wells now but are into small systems. We really do need to prepare for the next dry cycle. Hopefully that won't happen next year, but right now we will see the impacts of this drought, I think, for many years, especially for those that rely on groundwater resources, until we do get some wet years and pull those groundwater conditions back up.